Hello everyone and welcome back to LewisNews. In today's video I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about all the projects coming up in 2024 for Spider-Man. So we're going to be going over all of the Sony movies, we're going to be going over some of the comics, and we're also going to be going over some of the Disney Plus stuff as well. But before we do get into that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because if you're not, this is going to be your #1 YouTube channel and main source of information regarding Spider-Man come 2024, so you're not going to want to miss anything. Make sure you are subscribed. With that being said, let's get straight into this. So I want to mention this is going to be projects of interest, so obviously I'm not going to include Spidey and His Amazing Friends Season 3, because people who are subscribed to this channel probably are a little bit too old to be watching that sort of stuff. If you watch that series, then fair enough to you, then, you know, hopefully you enjoy Season 3, but we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the main stuff, so the movies, comics, some of the more demographically available content for Spider-Man in this next year. So obviously coming up on January 10th, we have got Ultimate Spider-Man Issue 1. So this is going to be the first major Spider-Man project of the new year, and it is literally 10 days into 2024. Comes out January 10th, and it literally comes out in a few weeks. So this is basically going to be a series following an older Spider-Man. It's going to be following an older Peter Parker, and it's going to be following an older Mary Jane Watson. They're going to be married and have 2 kids, and essentially the Spider is going to bite Peter as an older man. It's a little bit of a different story. It is something that we haven't really seen before in comics or just Spider-Man media in general, and the reason why this is so interesting is because if you have followed the comics, then you'd know that obviously a massive problem with them at this moment in time is that the editorial and Marvel just in general refuses to move Peter and Mary Jane on, and they don't really like them being together, they don't like them being married, and Mary Jane and Peter have been back and forth for the last good 20 years now. So this series is going to actually have them together, and that is why this is so exciting. It's also a new story, something that we've never seen before in any TV show, any movie, any comic before, so that's why this is really interesting. If you're not into Spider-Man comics and you've ever thought about getting into them, this is the best place to start, because this is going to be a brand new series, a brand new universe, and you can hop straight in and understand it from the very start. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man coming out January 10th, that is going to be a big start for the year for Spider-Man. And then obviously coming in February, just over a month later, is going to be Madam Web. So Madam Web, obviously, as we do know, we spoke about it on the channel many a times before, it is going to be a very niche film, I guess you could say. It's going to follow the multiverse, it's going to follow time travel. It includes characters like Ezekiel Sims, who is a very niche Spider-Man comic character. He's actually a character who has been touted to be the villain of the movie. However, in the comics, he's more of an adjacent to Spider-Man, more of an equal. He never really is a villain. Yes, they do fight in the comics multiple times, but Ezekiel Sims is more of a kind of good guy, kind of a mentor to Spider-Man most of the time. It is only on certain occasions that Ezekiel Sims has his own agendas and then becomes a villain just because Spider-Man is the protagonist of the story, but largely Ezekiel is kind of a hero, which is why this movie is going to be really interesting. There is definitely more than meets the eye with the trailer and with the movie in general, so I definitely think it's going to be an interesting watch, and I definitely think that they are hiding some things from the audience, and hopefully this movie can have a really good twist. We know Sony hasn't really got the best track record for movies in recent years when it comes to Spider-Man spin-offs and villain movies, so hopefully Madam Web can turn the tide and be a good start for Spider-Man movies in 2024. If you have forgotten, we've got Dakota Johnson playing Cassandra Webb, we've got Sydney Sweeney playing Julia Carpenter, and then we've got Isabella Merced playing Anya Corazon, and we've also got Celeste O'Connor playing Mattie Franklin respectively. All different Spider-Women from all across the multiverse. It's also interesting to note that this will be the first live-action Spider-Woman movie, which is also very interesting as well, so it's going to be a big movie for just Spider-Women in general and their representation on screen. But yeah, it's going to be a big movie, and hopefully it can give us a great start to Spider-Man movies in 2024. And then we have to jump all the way to August 30th and all the way across the summer till we get our next major Spider-Man project, which of course is Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe. This movie will follow Sergei Kravinoff as he grows up with a father that then goes on to later oppose him in the film. And that's pretty much all that we know about this movie. We also know that the Rhino is going to appear in this film as well. And with the likes of Michael Keaton's Vulture transferring from the MCU into the Sonyverse in Morbius, it possibly seems like with the inclusion of Rhino in this film that they are trying to somehow set up some kind of Sinister Six. Possibly, that's just a theory, but it could very well happen. We know what Sony's like. But yeah, Kraven the Hunter, hopefully it's good. I just think the trailer looks a little boring. It doesn't really stand out to me in any sort of way. It doesn't seem like a movie that I'd be very interested in. I'm only seeing this movie because it's Kraven. I'm not really seeing it for any other reason whatsoever. And of course, the next major project with a release date is of course Venom 3, which comes out November 8th. Now, initially this film was meant to come out on July 12th of next year, but obviously because of the writer strikes and the actor strikes, they couldn't carry on filming, so they had to put it on hold, and they are now releasing it on November 8th of next year. So it's going to be a winter Venom movie, which could be pretty cool. And out of all the Sony movies, this is the one that I'm hoping for to deliver the most, or this is the one with the highest expectations. I'd say all of the Sony movies generally don't really have a high expectation, but if there's one that you expect to do pretty well, at least financially, it's going to be Venom 3. And it's because, obviously, Tom Hardy and Venom and those movies and that character now does have a reputation. People generally enjoy Tom Hardy as the Venom character, as Eddie Brock, and I think if they take what works about Venom 1 and 2 and apply it to this movie will definitely be better than the first two, and hopefully can be a critical and financial success, and this is the movie that I do have the highest hopes for come 2024. Of course, you've noticed that obviously I didn't mention Beyond the Spider-Verse. That was initially slated to release in March, but because there have been rumors and there have been many things suggesting that this film has been delayed, I am not going to include it in this video here. But there is one final project that obviously I haven't mentioned, and a bunch of you are probably wondering why I haven't mentioned it, but that's because it hasn't actually officially got a release date yet, but it is slated to come out in 2024, and that is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the Disney Plus show formerly known as Spider-Man Freshman Year, coming out in 2024. So like I mentioned, it doesn't actually officially have a release date yet. We actually covered this on the channel the other day when Disney released a massive list of dates and release dates for their upcoming projects next year, and Spider-Man Freshman Year wasn't actually one of them, and we discussed why this might be the case. So if you want to see me go in more detail with that, then you can go watch that video. I'll probably leave a link in the description down below, but if I do forget, then it definitely will be on the channel and you'll be able to find it somewhere. But basically, if you want a very brief explanation, it's probably because they are nowhere near completed with the show yet, so they don't know if it will release in 2024, and they don't know if they're going to have to push it back or not. The likelihood is they are confident that it will release next year, they just don't know when, and there could be a chance that it is pushed back to 2025, but at this moment in time, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man will be coming to our screens next year. And that is pretty much it for all the major Spider-Man projects coming out next year. Tell me in the comment section down below, which one are you excited for the most? For me, personally, it's either between Ultimate Spider-Man Issue 1, which is only a few weeks away, or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because I'm really excited for a Disney Plus Spider-Man show. We haven't gotten a great Spider-Man cartoon since Spectacular Spider-Man, so I'm really excited to see how they handled that. In terms of the comics, I really love the comics, as you guys will know if you follow me over on Lewis Films, so Ultimate Spider-Man is something that I'm really excited about. In terms of the films, I'm not really too overly excited for any of them. However, I am actually really interested to see what they do with Madam Web, and that is kind of like my guilty pleasure Sony movie. Like, I feel like I will like this movie no matter if it's good or bad. I just love the concept of them doing Madam Web. It's always been a character that has interested me ever since she appeared in the 90s show and had that major role there. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all types of Spider-Man news in 2024. Like I mentioned, this is going to be your #1 hub for everything Spider-Man. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.